Hey Sagittarius, I'm doing your 2020 forecast yearly reading. I'll be working with 2 tarot decks and 1 oracle deck to end with. And we'll just be doing a general overview of what the 2020 new year is going to look like for you. So I'm going to start shuffling with this deck. And in the meantime, I just want you guys to visualize what your intentions are for this year of 2020 and see that energy flowing into the deck as I shuffle. And then we'll just kind of go from there. Hope you guys are having a really good day, by the way. And now this 2020 has kind of been off to a crazy start, and I know I've been late to my videos on this channel, so sorry about that, guys. Okay. So I'm going to do 6 each from each deck. Okay. Now for my second deck. And just so you guys know, this can be for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So it's not just for sun signs, it can be moon and rising sign. Alright, let me split the deck. Okay. Okay. All right, and let's begin. And sorry you can't see the whole spread, guys. I think on my next video I'm gonna have to adjust the camera, but for now we're just gonna have to work with it. So yeah. All right. So I'm gonna start with, I'm doing like a storyline and just flip as I go and then kind of go from there. Okay. Okay. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Me being a perfectionist. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to start with just this first deck's cards that I flipped. Give me a moment to reflect over this. So what I'm gathering is you're kind of coming into this new year disconnected because we have the reversed High Priestess, which is usually a card of intuition. When this card is reversed, it usually talks about someone who is not connected to their intuition, who hasn't been listening to their intuition, having a lack of spiritual connection, and just ignorance, kind of basically. So maybe you're just kind of going into this new year not really tuning into your intuition, kind of ignoring what your intuition might be telling you, and that could be kind of putting you in a dark place. And I'm kind of getting like there was some type of separation in a relationship because we have the Ten of Cups in the reversed. So when I see that, what I'm gathering is that a relationship that maybe you had high hopes for did not work out and is strained. Like there's a lot of friction and disharmony, a lot of grief and conflict that happened in the ending of this relationship. And it seemed like it could have been a relationship that affected multiple areas of your life because it's surrounded by major arcana cards. So this was like a really, really impacting relationship that maybe left like a bitter taste in your mouth. Like, I don't know if you were the one who got dumped or you broke up with somebody or someone just did you wrong. But just, I feel like you didn't feel really good about this ending. Like, there was something about it that's left your heart unsettled and has created a friction between you and this person. Like, it didn't end on a good note. Like, it was on a bad note. It wasn't a good ending. Like, it was a bad ending. And that might only be for some of you Sagittarians. Others of you just could have got out of relationships in a peaceful way. But I just kind of get the feeling that this ending put you in a dark place and kind of just disconnected you from your spiritual self and just from your intuition. And you're not really feeling happy about this ending. It might have caused you a lot of grief emotionally, like feelings of loneliness and maybe just feeling a lack of being understood. But whatever it is, you got the Chariot that came out after it. So whatever this ending brought, regardless, you're moving forward in life. Because even with endings, life keeps moving, So as hard as endings can be, I think you're moving towards a new beginning and charging ahead for the changes that lie and await and ahead for you in the future. I think you're just kind of taking your losses and you're just moving forward. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. And if it wasn't a romantic relationship you ended, it could have been an ending of something else in your life, a job, a living situation, or just an ending of a way of behaving. But I kind of get the feeling more so, since this is like the Ten of Cups, I feel more so it was a relationship. And it could also be like a friendship or a relation to a family member, whatever. It was some sort of relationship that came to an ending. And now you're moving away from that and moving towards something different. But after that, we did get the Nine of Cups in reversed. And what I'm getting from that is you just haven't been, again, I feel like this ending has made you feel bitter. Because when this Nine of Cups in reverse, it's somebody who's snobbish, selfish, like superficial and corrupt. This type of ending could have put you in your dark side, like your dark self, your shadow self. You just might be feeling darker feelings, maybe because you felt like you were the one who was wronged in this relationship, like you got the short end of the stick in this ending. And maybe that just doesn't feel fair, so it could just be putting you in the darker sides of your emotions. And if that's the case, a lot of people do go through that when a relationship ends, and that's completely understandable. But to still just try to find a way to work through those dark, muddy emotions and still trying to find a way to be positive, even if like things didn't go in your favor in this ending. Because I just kind of get the feeling with these emotions, you're just not having the most positive emotions. It seems like you've been dealing with more negative emotions. So, just to be mindful of that, not to get stuck in those dark emotions and try to work through the muddy parts of the situation, knowing that there's light that comes out of it. Because after that, you got the Ace of Wands, which is like renewed passion, renewed passionate energy coming into your life, strong beginnings, like a burst of soul energy, new life. You could have discovered new passions or passions that you were already stoked about. But you're feeling new inspiration from this ending and bold steps forward. And that's what I was saying. From hard endings come new beginnings, come better, more passionate, light beginnings. And I feel like that's what this hardship is bringing you, is something more passionate and new and just something to be excited about, even though you had to go through hardship here and go through some muck and some work and some dark feelings to finally get to this place of feeling really good and excited about life again and inspired about the things you're going to create and what you're going to do in your actions to bring these new passionate beginnings in your life. So it seems like, there are things to be hopeful and optimistic about as you're coming out of this dark phase at the beginning of 2020. So that's one thing to remember. Now with the Six of Swords, what I'm gathering from that is as you're starting this new beginning, you might still be getting stuck in old patterns of your behavior that prevent progress moving forward. Just being stubborn and maybe just like going through a postponement of a decision or a journey. And maybe you're feeling stubborn about that. Like you just kind of want things to go your way and have everything play out the way that you're hoping it will, sorry. Because maybe you've had plans in this new beginning to travel or start up a business or move to a new home, whatever the case may be. Your progress could be thwarted and you might have obstacles that could get in the way of that. And you might have old patterns of behavior that are limiting you from getting to the place that you're trying to get to. So this seems like something that's temporary, but just to be mindful, there might be some obstacles this year that are going to get in the way of this journey or this change or this place that you are trying to get to. And just know that this is a postponement that seems like it's meant to happen, but it might just cause you some feelings of stress just because, when things aren't going your way, it can get a little stressful. But don't worry, it will all magically work out in the meantime. So I'm going to start flipping these cards now. Okay. All right. Then we have the Chariot in the reverse, just because I know you can't fully see these cards. Four of Wands in the reverse. Ace of Swords. Okay. Well, whatever is postponing and holding you back is going to cause you to feel like you're not in your power, like you're not in your strength, like you almost might even feel like a coward. And I hate saying that, like not like you're a coward, but just like you might feel like a coward feeling like you haven't succeeded or gotten to where you want to be in life or what you dreamed of having in a relationship or whatever it may be. You just might be feeling let down and you might not be feeling in your strengths because of it. Because of the hardships you've been going through this 2020, you're not feeling the strongest, most positive person this year. If anything, you've been kind of feeling more on the darker side of things emotionally, and that's been kind of taking you out of your power, especially if certain things haven't been going your way and you've been getting delayed. I can totally see how that would just feel like that's kind of draining you and not making you feel super positive and hopeful and courageous about what's to come. Because when you go through a hard ending, it really can take a lot out of you energetically. And, it takes a lot to get back into your strength and to be fully passionate again. But you could also be abusing your power in ways that are not helpful to you. If you're trying to use your power for something that could be toxic or harmful. And I think that's maybe just for some of you Sagittarians, not for all of you. But I do feel for a lot of you Sagittarians, you're in a fragile place right now. You're just feeling helpless. You might feel small. You might feel like you're in disharmony with yourself. And like I said, I really just feel like that's just because things in your life haven't really been working out the way you've been wanting them to. And that's just been discouraging you and not making you feel like a super ultra powerful being, super strong, positive person, making you feel brave. If anything, it's probably made you feel afraid. Just knowing that, some things went down a certain way that you were not expecting this year, and it's just caused you a lot of burden, especially emotionally, because I'm just seeing a lot of emotions here. And of course, it's affected other areas of your life. But to just know that even when you're going through this hardship, the best way to get through it is to just have some time alone to emotionally withdraw from all this tense, dark energy that you've been dealing with, especially if it's from a relationship. And take space from it. Spend more time alone and working on your healing, because anytime a breakup happens or any type of ending, you're gonna just have to have time alone with yourself to recover from it and tend to your wounds. Because especially with whatever you went through, it took a lot of energy out of you. Like, it just drained you. Because definitely when the Strength card is in reversed, you're just not feeling strong at all. You might just be feeling weak, and that obviously doesn't feel good. So I think it's going to be really important for you to dedicate time for yourself to do things that are going to nurture your energy and healing it and replenishing you, because taking time to emotionally withdraw from life can overall be rewarding in itself in recharging your batteries and getting yourself back in shape. But in the meantime, I know you've probably been really disappointed with how things have played out for you so far in this new year, and how maybe you've been getting treated from people who, I don't know, you were emotionally really attached to or you looked up to. People are just going to let you down this year, and you have to find a way to make peace with that and be okay and walk away from that and just find a way to embrace the unknown of it. And what I also kind of feel is, for some of you, it might be good this year to get near a body of water. Like spending time near the ocean, that can be really healing. Going to the beach, if you can't get to the ocean this year, just going to a lake or a river, just spending time near water, I feel is going to be really recharging and healing for you guys. And it's just going to kind of give you some peaceful tranquility in your life after maybe moments of havoc and trouble. I don't know. That's just because I see this guy on the beach near the water, and he's just kind of surrendering to the element of the ocean. I don't know. Like, he just looks like he's praying. So I think for some of you, it would be good to take a trip this year and spend some time near the ocean or just anywhere near the water to just focus on your healing, because it seems like this situation was really painful for you. And the best way to get through it is to be in a place that's going to enable your healing, and doing that alone. So that's what I'm getting from that. Now, we also got the Hierophant in the reversed. So again, I think you were fearful of this change and you're stubborn about it. Like, it's not a change you wanted. And it's definitely a change, like I said, that's making you feel weak. That's making you just not feel like... Yeah, I just feel like it's just not making you feel confident. Like, this was definitely a change I feel you did not want. And you might not feel like you're ready for it. But, you know, everything happens for a specific reason, Sagittarius, and you got to kind of just trust the process, even if it is painful. There's lessons and wisdom that come from it. And to just remember that, you know, everything passes, the storm will pass, and things will eventually make sense again. But in the meantime, you're just going to have to roll with the punches. But with the reverse Chariot coming after it, yeah, there is just failure, collapse, unresolved conflict, dissolution of dreams. Yeah, there is just something that is not going your way this year. And this could be more than just a ending of a relationship. Maybe it's like a business, or like I said, or moving somewhere. Like, whatever you had planned for that was meaningful to you, that was really big, is for some reason getting postponed and held back and is becoming like a failed venture. And that, of course, could be putting you in a really dark mood and not feeling happy and successful. But, you know, failure is inevitable sometimes, and failure is honestly essential and helpful to growth. Sometimes the only way to go through growth is to go through pain, because, like the saying goes, you can't grow without going through growing pains. I don't even know if that's a saying, but it's true. When we grow as human beings in our physical bodies, we can't grow without having to feel physical growing pains. And that's just how life is. You kind of have to go through pain to go through growth. But that's a good thing. Pain reminds you that you're growing and you're breaking open and you're working through the barriers of life and you're expanding. As hard as like it could feel and it could be in certain areas of your life, if it gets in the way of, you know, you making progress it's still going to be essential to your growth and just the lessons you're going to be learning from it this year. But man, Sagittarius, I just feel like you kind of have just having a rough start to this year. More than a rough start, it just kind of seems like it's playing out as a rough year for you. But don't lose hope, okay? Seriously. You also got the Foundation and Achievements, the Four of Wands in the reversed. So, yeah, plans gone awry, dissatisfaction. Again, disharmony. Something just did not play out in a relationship. It didn't move forward. Yeah, if there was someone in a relationship you were hoping to marry and settle with in a family and get a home together, that didn't happen. It seems like things just did not go according to plan for you this year, and that definitely is making you feel really emotional. But to just know, like, these things happen and it's necessary for, like I said, for your growth, even if it's hard. Because the other saying goes, God's rejection is God's protection. And every time I hear that saying, I'm just like, wow, like you wouldn't think of that, because when we get rejected, we get heartbroken, right? But if you really think about it, God's rejection is God's protection. Like, you're being protected. Like, if something didn't work out, it was for a specific reason, a higher reason that is overall for your well-being. And that is your protection in the long run. So as much as you might be sad about this, just know, like, you are protected, and there was a really big reason why it didn't play out the way you wanted it to. So just surrender to that process and be okay with it. Because the more you surrender and let go of control, the easier this whole hardship is going to be for you. And then we also got the Ace of Wands. Not the Ace of Wands, sorry. The Ace of Swords. Triumph and success. Yeah, I feel like after all of this, you're going to get a lot of mental clarity. And you're going to bring back that great force at work in your life and take a fresh approach and, rekindle your strength. And overall, like, after going through a really hard time, you're still going to be successful at the very end of the year. Like, you're going to go through all this hard stuff, but then at the very end, you will come out successful and victorious, and you will be determined, and your ambition will come back. And it'll almost be like that warrior spirit will come back in you after feeling like you've been beaten. That sounds really harsh, but like I said, sometimes you have to go through the hardest tests in life to realize your strength and how far you've come. And I think that's what 2020 is going to show you. But by the end of the year, you're going to come out stronger from it, more clear in your mind, especially, and pierce through the darkness with that sword and tell it how it is and be truthful with yourself. And, just like I said, take a fresh approach and do things differently. But overall, like, you'll come out successful and determined to do things in a way that are going to be healthier for you. And you will come out of this really dark phase. But like I said, you'll come out like a warrior. You'll come out strong. And God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. So just remember that, Sagittarius. Even if this year is going to be hard for you, it's going to be meant for you because it's going to make you stronger in the very end of it. So, and now I'll pull an oracle card for you, and we'll wrap up your ending of your 2020 forecast. So, I'm going to use the Whispers of Healing oracle deck. What is your overall lesson of 2020? That is so great. Strength. See that? Yeah, because you're not, you won't be feeling super strong and in your power this year, but at the very end of it all, you still have to find your strength, even if you don't feel strong. I'm going to read this to you. Unexpected change can leave you feeling unstable, anxious, and unclear of what to do next or what is important right now. This is a normal human response. To reclaim your life and tap into your wisdom, connect to the strength of your heart and mind. Inner strength is the resilient certainty that comes forth when you believe in yourself. Your strength shows up in different ways, such as willpower, positive attitude, trust, and self-reliance. It is the encouraging reflection and appraisal of yourself that makes you feel moral, competent, and bold. The things you do to create inner peace can also help you find strength. Affirm your spiritual values, spend time out in nature, do something to nurture yourself. Take time away from your work. What you feed your mind, either knowingly or unknowingly, impacts on how you connect to others, to the world, and to yourself. Until you train your mind, you will go through life unable to assess your greatest potential, power, and well-being. A fairy rides on the back of a tiger moth. The tiger is associated with strength, passion, ferocity, beauty, and speed. The tiger moth effortlessly carries the fairy over the challenges below. This is the way your power will carry you over and through anything happening at present. You are stronger than you realize. You can handle this. And that's honestly like a perfect message for you, Sagittarius. It couldn't even get more clear than that. So just know, as dark and hard as it might be this year in 2020 for you, you are going to be really strong and you have so much strength in you to get through this. You just need to remember that in the moments when you're feeling weak. But that's all I have for you, Sagittarius. I really hope it was helpful to you. I know this was a really harsh reading. But I think it ended on a positive note, so that's where I'm gonna leave it at. Other than that, I hope you guys have a blessed day, and until next time.